The village in it with a map and a plan. No place too tiny for this determined man. Crossing the counties one by one, you'll see in every English corner a bit of history.
Hello folks, welcome for the first time ever on TVI to Surrey. All this week we're beginning the district of Waverley, and there's some interesting bits and bobs to tell you about this particular part of the southeast of England. As I was driving down here this morning, I passed a sign that said, "Welcome to Jane Austen country," which this most definitely is. We won't be mentioning her today though, because this village I don't think has anything to do with her. There is plenty to talk about in this first village though. This is Dockenfield. Dockenfield, Dock Plant Field. Hello Surrey, for the very first time on TVI we're exploring a county here known for its historic market towns like Guildford, Farnham, Godalming and Dorking, but we're not starting in any of those. Today we're making our debut in Surrey in the quiet little village of Dockenfield. Dockenfield sits about 5 miles from Farnham and has a long story stretching all the way from Roman Britain to today. It lies beside the ancient Alice Holt Forest with the headwaters of the River Wey rising close by. The name Dockenfield has appeared in many forms over the centuries. It was first recorded during the reign of Edward III and almost certainly means open land where dock plants once grew. The field part simply refers to cleared ground or pasture. For centuries, Dockenfield was treated as part of Hampshire, even though it belonged to Frensham, which is in Surrey. That odd arrangement lasted until 1895, when Dockenfield officially became part of Surrey, and it stayed that way ever since. People have lived and worked here for thousands of years. Roman workers produced pottery and roof tiles at Dockenfield Farm, and farming remained the main occupation for centuries afterwards, with wheat and hops filling the fields. No visit here is complete without understanding the importance of Alice Holt Forest. It supplied oak for Royal Navy warships and served as a royal hunting ground. Today, Forestry England manages much of it, and Forest Research carries out nationally important scientific work nearby. Dockenfield also has several landmarks worth discovering. The Church of the Good Shepherd, completed in 1910 and designed by William Curtis Green, became the village's first church after centuries of relying on Frensham. The War Memorial, topped with its unusual pitched roof, honours local people lost in 3 conflicts. And the Blue Bell pub has its own collection of unusual tales, including one involving a fiery former landlady. The village's best-known resident was the illustrator Pauline Baines, who lived here for around 60 years. Her artwork brought to life books by Tolkien, C.S. Lewis, Richard Adams and many others. In 2002, she designed the colourful Good Shepherd window inside the church. Dockenfield may be peaceful, but there's plenty happening behind the scenes, especially at Bealswood Common, where rare birds and flowering plants are carefully monitored. As we walk around, you'll see that every corner here adds another piece to this story.
I'm super excited today. You know why? I'm in my home county. I'm going to seriously relish putting Surrey on the map, and what better place to start than with this beauty of a village. Let's go.
Right, we have made it to our start point then here in Dockenfield, and this will be a nice gentle walk to start this run of 5 this week. Nothing too strenuous in this first village. I'm expecting to see quite a nice village here actually, and sort of evidence for that is in this bus shelter, because here you can see in 1980 Dockenfield was given a Best Kept Village award. Let's see what it looks like today, shall we? We start on the street at the Dockenfield War Memorial. It's immediately striking because of its pitched roof, something you don't see often. The monument honours 12 local men who lost their lives during the First World War. After the Second World War, more names were added, and later still, a permanent stone was placed here for Sean Birchall, who died during the Afghanistan conflict. Dockenfield has long been linked with the military. During the First World War, Borden Camp was so close by that British and Canadian soldiers were often seen in the village. Their presence became part of everyday life while the fighting continued across Europe. A little further up the road on the right, there used to be a school. It served local infants and could hold up to 50 children, though the average attendance was only around 30. One headmistress, Miss Sarah Jane Fletcher, even had her own house right beside the school. Well, so far so good. It's very quiet this morning. Mind you, it is 6 o'clock. I don't expect many people to be up and out at this hour, but of course, idiots like me, we are. Next thing on our list is the Church of the Good Shepherd.
This is the Church of the Good Shepherd, which is the main religious building this village has today. Before 1910, people from Dockenfield had to travel to the ancient parish church of St Mary the Virgin in nearby Frensham because there was no church here. When built, this became a daughter church of Frensham and was soon an important place for village life. The church was designed by William Curtis Green, an English architect who lived nearby. His design followed the arts and crafts style. This church is usually closed, so a visit inside can feel like something of a special chance. Even just a visit to the outside is good though. There's a great cross, for example, which stands at the eastern end, with its arms ending in the symbols of the 4 evangelists. If you do manage to get inside, most of the fittings look a little newer than the building itself. They include a bulky font, a rood beam, and the instruments of the Passion high beneath the roof. The eastern end finishes with a curtain instead of a more regular east window. The building also follows plenty of ideas linked with the Catholic tradition, especially those that became popular by the interwar years. That's probably because Dockenfield once had a convent, and we'll see where that was later. One of the most interesting features here is the Good Shepherd window, which was dedicated in 2002. It was designed by Pauline Baines, who lived in the village for 60 years. She also illustrated books by Tolkien, C.S. Lewis, Richard Adams, and several other well-known writers.
Okay, so we're next to the church here in a bus shelter, and you can see there above the bus timetable it says, "Have you explored Surrey?" Well, no, I haven't, not yet, because this is the first ever video I've done in Surrey, and because of that, you guys in Surrey who are watching me right now will not know what I do when I come across one of these things. That's the parish notice board, and when I come across one of these, I leave a card to signify that I've actually been to the place. So we'll do that here, provided the pin board isn't too tough, which it's not. There we go. That's Dockenfield in the books. Now, right next door to this bus shelter, there's a little playground. Next is Dockenfield's modest recreation ground. It has a modern playground with an extended multiplayer area, and families use the open green space for games, picnics and simple outdoor fun. The Farnham and district ramblers often pass through here on circular walks that cross the Surrey-Hampshire border, and once a year the place comes alive for Dockenfield Day, which is a pint-sized fete with a big heart. So we've come around onto Bealswood Lane, and all of a sudden it started to get quite hilly. It's quite a steep hill, this. It takes us up towards sort of the area that's got the pub and the entrance, or one of the entrances to Alice Holt Forest. It's quite woody around here, never mind Alice Holt. Now between here and all that lot, there's something called Bealswood Common. That's next.
So, this is Bealswood Common, an area of the village which is prized for its rich biodiversity. It acts as a refuge for dozens of bird species. Firecrests and spotted flycatchers are among those that can be found here. Bealswood is a protected wildlife area. That began with a deed in 1928, helping guard this special place for the future. A dedicated team of local people work on its woodland and its paths, so everyone can reach the important areas responsibly, while still helping protect plants and wildlife. The Bealswood Wildlife Recording Group, better known as BWRG, watches, studies, and records wildlife here. The group was organised during COVID, after people realised several villagers shared an interest in local wildlife. Each month, notices appear on the board at the top of the area, explaining recent sightings and pointing out anything especially interesting. These updates are also placed on the Common's very own website, where yearly checklists have been collected from 2020 onwards. The group also keeps informal records from other open spaces across the village. It's not all about the wildlife here. Flowers bring colour to this common throughout the year, even during winter. Botanists have recorded over 20 flowering species at Bealswood.
There was one point coming through the trees there, I thought I was going into the middle of nowhere, although that wasn't quite the case because I knew exactly where I was going. I always planned my routes beforehand. And so the track that goes through Bealswood Common now brings you into sort of the western side of Dockenfield. Now this is where the local pub is, and this has got an interesting little tale to it regarding a landlady who was quite feisty.
Dockenfield's only pub is the Bluebell. This is a family-run gastropub with a past stretching back over 150 years. First recorded as an alehouse in March 1855, the building originally began as a bakery before becoming a welcoming village inn. During World War II, the bakery was an important thing here because it supplied bread to local people. A large shed in the grounds was also the meeting place for the local Dad's Army. During those difficult wartime years, this was arguably the key spot in this village. A large part of the garden once grew strawberries instead of flowers. The fruit was packed into punnets and sold to local customers. Some of the berries were set aside for local jam making, so almost every crop had a useful purpose. There are 3 bits of folklore tied to this pub. One concerns Mora, an early 20th century landlady, best remembered for her fierce temper. Rumours even claim she once knocked out a difficult customer with her bare hands. Secondly, the Bluebell is sort of famous for a piece of furniture. It's said, although it is totally unofficial, that this pub has the longest table in England. The Bluebell name is the third thing. It's a reference to old woodland legends linked with Alice Holt Forest. Bluebells were once often placed in protective amulets near doorways at houses around the woods to keep evil spirits away. The chances are this pub did too. People also believed, by the way, that a bluebell garland made the wearer speak only the truth.
So if you stand outside the Bluebell, you can hear in the background some running water. I'm not quite sure where that's coming from because, as far as I'm aware, Dockenfield doesn't have anything like waterfalls or anything like that, but it's certainly that kind of sound. No idea whereabouts it's coming from. Speaking of water, there used to be some water just here on this little patch of green, but it's not there anymore. Outside the pub, there's a village green framed by mature English trees. It hasn't always been just a green though. Years ago there was a pond here, but it's since been filled in, leaving the grassy space we see today. Dockenfield's Methodist presence was centred on the Bible Christian Chapel, sometimes called Bat's Corner Chapel. Built before 1870, this is the building you see here. After the Methodist amalgamation of 1907, it became a United Methodist Chapel. The border adds an interesting twist here. The chapel sits right on the Hampshire-Surrey boundary. In fact, the road this is on is called Boundary Road for that very reason. The building is technically in Hampshire, yet it served people living in Surrey. And then literally on the other side of that old chapel, there's a path on the right hand side which takes you deep into the dark depths of Alice Holt woodland. Here it is. Now we're not going to go too far into this, we're just going to go far enough to make a piece about it.
Alice Holt Forest is also on the border between the two counties. It began as an ancient oak woodland before becoming mainly conifer plantations. Once a royal forest, this now forms the northern gateway to the South Downs National Park. The name Alice Holt most likely comes from Ælfsige, Bishop of Winchester, whose diocese held rights over the forest for the king. Over time, the old name slowly changed through several forms before becoming Alice Holt, with Holt simply meaning a wood or a thicket. This massive forest has a past that stretches back more than 2,000 years. Roman workers dug clay here for brickmaking and pottery kilns. Later, William the Conqueror claimed the forest as a private hunting ground. Old tales say the forest sheltered outlaws, much like Robin Hood, hiding among thick trees beside its lonely tracks. Supposedly, there was also an uncrowned queen who ruled the forest rides during those troubled times when English royalty faced great uncertainty. During the 18th and 19th centuries, mighty oak trees from this very wood were cut to build ships for the Royal Navy. Heavy harvesting left the forest badly reduced, so the 1812 Enclosure Act fenced off 1,600 acres before thousands of younger oaks were planted between 1815 and 1825. Forestry England took charge in 1924 and slowly replaced large areas of oak with fast-growing conifers. Today, the forest covers about 851 hectares, with around 140 hectares of oak planted in 1815 still standing. Since 1946, Alice Holt Lodge has been a leading forest research station studying tree genetics, forest carbon, wood fuels, and environmental change. Its valuable timber remains an important prize today, but not nearly as much as it used to be.
So you remember earlier I said it was getting hilly? Well, we climbed to the top of the hill at the forest there, and now I'm making my way back down said hill. And to do that, I'm in kind of the middle of Dockenfield. If you look at it on the map, this is kind of the central part. For the most part, I've just gone like round in a circle, but there is a sort of central part which has got a couple of houses and bits and bobs in it. Nothing that's really suitable for traffic. The road that I've just walked down, very bumpy and very loose material under my feet. Same on this footpath actually. Now this footpath takes us back to the bus shelter where we started, and that is pretty much then the circuit of the village. There is one more thing though I want to put on the map before I leave Dockenfield behind, and that would be the convent. Finally, we come to St Teresa's Convent. This building was once home to the Sisters of the Sacred Hearts of Jesus and Mary, a religious group founded in France in 1866 by Father Victor Braun, also known as the Chigwell Sisters. Here in Dockenfield, the convent became a place where vulnerable people could live and receive care. It supported those with mental and physical handicaps, offering shelter, help and daily support. When its religious use ended, the estate entered a new chapter. The old buildings were redeveloped into elegant residential apartments, but the work of the sisters remains an important part of Dockenfield's history. So that's our first visit to Surrey wrapped up, but don't go anywhere because we've got 4 more villages to explore this week. Dockenfield is more than just a Surrey village. In some ways it's Surrey by default, given its long connection to Hampshire. Dockenfield captures what makes this county special. It blends beautiful countryside with ancient woodland and historic buildings. While nearby towns have grown and changed, this corner of Surrey has kept much of its rural character. life moves at a slower pace here. I hope you've enjoyed discovering what Dockenfield has to offer and maybe found something unexpected along the way. Whether it was the church, the Bluebell, the War Memorial, the old convent or the forest, this village has a remarkable past.
Where the way begins its wandering and the forest meets the lane, you'll find a little village where the hills roll like a chain. Once a Hampshire corner, now a Surrey village proud, a place of quiet stories told in fields without a crowd. Dockenfield, Dockenfield, beside a woodland line, where Alice Holt leans over you with oak and ash entwined. This Roman clay and forest paths, its charm is gently sealed. There's nowhere quite as peaceful as the lanes of Dockenfield. A tithing in the doomsday days, unnamed but standing strong, with bishops' men and farming hands who worked the land so long. The ridge still holds some knolls today, the streams still twist and play, and every track through meadow grass remembers yesterday. Dockenfield, Dockenfield, beside a woodland line, where Alice Holt leans over you with oak and ash entwined. There's Roman clay and forest paths, its charm is gently sealed. There's nowhere quite as peaceful as the lanes of Dockenfield. Through centuries, but never lost its heart. A village shaped by its lovely ways, where nature plays its part. And when the evening settles low and the mist begins to rise, the forest edge turns silver under wide and open skies. The Good Shepherd's little chapel stands with the lantern light revealed, a beacon for the wanderer returning to the field. Dockenfield, Dockenfield, beside a woodland line, where Alice Holt leans over you with oak and ash entwined. There's Roman clay and forest paths, its charm is gently sealed. There's nowhere quite as peaceful as the lanes of Dockenfield. So raise a smile for Surrey's edge, where history lies concealed, in every stream and every hill, in the soul of Dockenfield.
Now just before I go, remember, this video is part of a huge project to visit every civil parish in England. That's more than 10,000. These routes are pre-planned, and due to time constraints, I can't cover every detail or walk down every street. Please don't complain if this video missed something out. I pronounce names how I choose to. I am very aware that local dialect may vary, and I don't take kindly to criticism about this. You've been warned. It's impossible to know everything too. If this video was terrible, make your own. If you're a regular watcher of The Village Idiot, you're not the only one. If you've got a small business, why not use my videos to advertise it? Leave a comment below if you're interested. And finally, thanks for watching this episode, everybody. Give us a like and a subscribe if you've enjoyed this episode, and share it with your friends and relatives. It all helps to keep this mission going. Until next time, I've been Andy, also known as The Village Idiot, and I'm out.